Hey there, it's the 9th of September 2021, and wow, we've got now 5 named systems around the world in the tropics. Here are 2 of them. We've got Chanthu and Conson. Let's start with the strongest tropical cyclone on Earth right now, and that is Chanthu. Chanthu became a Category 5 tropical cyclone around the time I uploaded the last video. Now it is still officially a Category 5 at 140 knots, although the eye does look like it's filling a little bit with cloud at the moment. The Joint Typhoon and Warning Center track official has changed since yesterday when it took it through the Luzon Channel into China. It now curves it to the northwest over Taiwan, and this means if this comes true, we're looking at a severe terrain interaction. Taiwan is a heavily mountainous island with a long spine of mountains known as the Central Mountain Range, and tropical cyclones are known to deviate, weaken, and do all sorts of crazy stuff as they interact with these mountains. The Hurricane Wharf has some of the highest resolution terrain within it, and it brings it into its high resolution storm following domain. So as we move forward with this storm, we're going to see some very interesting interactions. It goes past Luzon relatively unscathed, still at over 100 knots, but as we approach Taiwan, watch the storm as it moves up the east coast and then strikes the east coast and then almost bounces off it, but it's weakened substantially at that point. That is one example of the terrain interaction, but it's a severely complicated situation and will be dependent on how the storm strikes and interacts with the island. Notice also the calm wake on this side. Another thing that can happen is that the storm can approach the island and cross the island. It doesn't do it in the simulation, but you'll see a secondary low pressure system developing on that side of the west coast of the island. Sometimes the storms can cross over and reform on the other side. And actually, looking at the model tracks, it looks like there is a consensus coming up that it could go up the east coast, and in fact maybe the Joint Typhoon Warning Center will change their track to do that in the next update. We'll see. Meanwhile, we definitely can't let our guard down about Conson. Look at it. It is a vast area of thunderstorms now that's moved off the Philippines, given them a ton of rain, but is spinning up and intensifying over the South China Sea. And there's concern about a possible intensification into typhoon and possible rapid intensification if this thing really gathers itself together. Take the Hurricane Wharf, for example. Tropical storm to start with, then intensifies to become a typhoon, and unfortunately it does intensify up to over 100 knots, becoming a major hurricane strength system before making landfall in Vietnam. And the time of landfall is on September 12th, late on September 12th. So this is a dangerous looking storm. A potential rapid intensification prior to landfall is a big concern. Even without that, it'll bring an absolute ton of rain with associated landslide risks and flood. Out in the Atlantic, Larry continues to churn its way towards and past Bermuda. Bermuda is in here, you see it labeled as Hamilton, and under the outpost Cirrus. It's currently 80 knots sustained winds, making it a Category 2 hurricane, which is Delta class on the cyclone scale. Due to its proximity to Bermuda, we've got it on the radar, and wow, it's quite a distinct edge of the rainfall coming in, and almost within 100 kilometers of the weather radar. Still, Hurricane Wharf keeps the worst of the rain off and just missing Bermuda, which is over here, tantalizingly close, but a miss, thankfully. The waves, though, on the east coast of Bermuda are going to be huge. At least the ECMWF model indicates them getting up to 20 feet at 13, 14 seconds. That's going to be more akin to 30 to 40 foot face waves at the exposed and focusing locations. After Bermuda, the focus is on Newfoundland, which is forecast to catch the storm on the early hours or during the early hours of Saturday, September 11th. And the strongest winds on the right side of the storm do actually go past the Cape, but it is highly dependent on the track as a strong post-tropical hybrid type system. And if anything, the waves associated with this storm coming into Newfoundland are even bigger than those, it seems, striking Bermuda at 23 feet at 14 seconds. Geez, what is that? 40 foot? If all that wasn't enough, a tropical storm briefly formed in the northeastern side of the Gulf of Mexico, Tropical Storm Mindy, which is now a convective area heading up the southeastern US. And oh dear, what's this? We've got Tropical Storm Olaf, which is spinning up, and there's the Baja Peninsula there, and this is a little bit right to the earlier forecast, so it is a threat to the southern Baja Peninsula. Hurricane Wharf indicates a bit of intensification as the storm clips the Baja Peninsula, and the National Hurricane Center have issued hurricane warning for the region. They're expecting tropical storm force conditions at least in this region. And to finish up, let's just check in on our South American storm, which has pretty much gone as expected based on the models for several days. This has been predicted, and we've got this low pressure system developing. Looks like the low is probably around Buenos Aires or somewhere around there along the coast, and this big surge of rain and wind and waves piling into Mar del Plata. And the ASCAT scatterometer got a partial pass at the beginning of the system. You can see tropical storm force winds closing up to 45 knots. I think I'm going to call it as a beta class subtropical / hybrid type system. And I think that is it. That was a lot of storms. Sorry, I had to rush over some of them. Phew, we made it. Okay, see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, then you may find other videos on this channel of interest. Hitting the like button and subscribing really helps to support this channel. To get the latest videos, don't forget to enable all notifications.